G'day guys, welcome back to Reach Me or Teach Me. A bit of a different one for us today. I thought I might give you guys a little bit of context on my background and how I'm piecing things together, looking at all the new stuff that I'm learning from the US. Now, I thought I'd give you a bit of background and info on our three football codes. Yes, I said three, and I'm not including soccer. We have rugby, which is the one that you guys are most familiar with. That's the game that I think most Americans, when they hear me talk about rugby or rugby league, I think they hear rugby. There's also rugby league, which they're very similar sort of sports in as much as you have a set offensive line and a set defensive line, and essentially the ball moves laterally across the offensive line as the offensive line itself moves forward. So both codes have that same sort of concept. There's many different rules, different subtleties to the game. There's even more players in rugby than there is in rugby league. But this is not a full breakdown on these individual sports. It's just a quick snippet. The biggest difference is that in rugby, you'll see that all the players around the ball are all like jump. So the player's been tackled, and then all the other players are all in there scrambling. And that's because in rugby, when the player is tackled, the ball still stays live. So the defensive players have now got an opportunity, as long as they stay on their feet, but again, not going to get into all those subtleties of the rules, to then grab the ball and bring it back onto their team, even though the player's been down. They can just grab the ball and take it back. So then you get offensive players that come in over the top of their tackled player to protect the ball. That's their sole role there, is to protect the ball and push it back to their offensive line. So that whole little thing's called a ruck. And essentially the ball's on the ground, tackled player on the ground, but the ball's still live and it's essentially up for grabs. In rugby league, when the player is tackled, the play stops. The tackled player gets up. They put the ball through their legs, a little bit like a not spike. Jesus, the snap. A little bit like the snap in NFL. They put the ball through their legs. They just roll it along the ground, and then the person behind them picks it up, and they start the offense from there. So there's similarities, but rugby union is a more constant game. Rugby league has a little bit more stop-start to it, but they both basically play for 80 minutes, and both are physical and all the rest of it. Now, AFL, which is what I'm going to have a look at today for you, very, very different. The players are all over the field. The field is enormous. It's generally played on a cricket oval, which is 2 to 3 times the size of an NFL ground. It's an oval shape, and it's a bit like aerial soccer and lacrosse, in as much as the players have to move the ball up the field by kicking the ball to one another, but they don't kick it along the ground in soccer. They kick it aerially, and the next person has to catch the ball, and so on and so forth. But because the players are scattered all over the place, and because you have a lot of people on both sides going for the ball, there's some incredible collisions, and some of the hits in AFL are just disgusting. So, me living in Queensland, oh, by the way, here's some other little bit of trivia for you. Australia is a big place. It is almost very, 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 very nearly the same size as the US. And a lot of people don't understand that. So it's a big place, and we have different states and different cultures amongst those states, etc. To the point where I live in Queensland, which is in the northeast of Australia, we're not massive on AFL. Like we've got a couple of teams and things like that, but our main sports are rugby league and rugby union when it comes to the football codes. Whereas you go down south to Victoria, which is down in the southeast, and then you go to things like South Australia in the middle and Western Australia over to the far west there. Those states are massive on AFL, and some of them don't even play rugby league. So AFL is enormous in those southern states, to the point where in Victoria it's basically a religion. AFL in Victoria is as big as football is in Texas. It is one serious sport. The AFL Grand Final is a bit like our Super Bowl. There is 100,000 people. It's between 90 and 100,000 is the capacity of the stadium, and they sell out every single year without fail. It is just the biggest sporting event on our calendar. far as football codes are concerned. Anyway, all that ranting and rambling and raving and whatnot, again, living in Queensland, I'm not huge on AFL, so I haven't actually followed a lot of it, and I can guarantee you I probably haven't seen 95% of this video. So it's going to be a fun one for me. Hopefully it's a fun one for you, and hopefully you've learnt a thing or two. So with all that, let's go.
Organised the space that he wanted. Big clearance to be won here. Oh, Nate Jones and Selwood. Have a look at this contest. Wow. Two skippers. Handball over the top. Viney. Oh, bang!
That's what I mean.
Sydney Stack just sat him down. What a statement that is.
Good looking kick to Franklin. Well done, Ranso, closing. Oh!
That guy, number 23 in the red and white, Buddy Franklin, he's massive. He's a unit. He's an absolute tank. And he just steamrolls dudes like you saw there. That's regularity, that is.
That is.
Good looking kick to Franklin. Well done, Ranso, closing. Oh, gee, that looked awful.
Look how big he is. There's one other guy nice and big too.
It's the one, if you run past the footy and you choose to bump. He's been reported by the umpire and you make contact with the head, the onus is completely on you, which is Buddy Franklin. He went past the footy. Most people in the olden days would say that's a fair bump, but if you make contact...
Cox maybe wanted it into the shade. Bounces it. Oh, big bump on Gaff. Welcome to footy. And he bounced up like a rubber ball. The kid might go all right.
Needed to. Cameron knocked over. Ambrose coming one way, going down the other way. Players sore for GWS.
There's a lot of hip-to-head and shoulder-to-head injuries because players go down, like you saw, they're committing to the ball, and you'll get two players that are going downward together. One gets their head in the wrong position, another one turns their body on, and all of a sudden hip-to-head, and it's KO. Good night.
Two players with the ball between them, and they both went at it. I don't think either player was... No head contact, fortunately.
Ferocious here at the moment, the prize. Sire setting up Maynard. Put one right in the guts for Ryan. He's down, Maynard. He's winded.
The head behind the right here. Here's Davis, just turned his body. Wow. He's limping, Phil Davis. He's finally got
Again,
up.
hip. So many hip contacts.
Well, Rioli actually got the push from Tomlinson as well, so he got the catapult in and clash of knees too.
Kick wasn't too good. Chance for Jester Market. Oh, he got one and collected him fair and square too.
Ha! Fair and square. That's totally illegal in the modern game. He left his feet braced, contacted with the elbow into the head and everything.
That half back goes for a pass. It's a good one. Oh, down he goes.
That's fair.
And this young fella's played a great game. He copped the heavy one that time.
Hurd is the favourite. One straight into the wide position. A good hip and shoulder there by side bottom. Could easily have gotten the free kick. Andrews cops one too high.
Eagles giving it away.
What is going
He's got
on?
quality wide, but even wider and longer is Brown.
See, that's two players competing for a ball. It's up in the air. So you got one player's up like this, looking at the ball. He's on the ground. The other guy's running from behind him. And they take what they call speckies, which is Aussie for spectacular marks, where they'll run up, they will jump and put their knees on that guy's shoulder. And so they're essentially two body lengths in the air, and then they catch the ball. And again, if you haven't seen AFL, guys, check it out. I think you guys would really like it.
Mark over the top of Phillips.
We look at the huge hit, bravery from both players. They both jumped up and playing now, but this is where they're getting the extra number, it feels like.
Bombers desperate for a goal here. Clever flick by Carlisle. Chapman ran into Young, and Chapman was up.
Very good year last year, hasn't been able to go on with it this year.
Just steamroll.
Takes out Hempel.
Keeps going. Didn't even slow down.
Gets his first touch in the AFL, looking for a give and go with Sidebottom. Big hit. Big hit from Swallow.
That was Haight, Taranto.
And contact. Andrews is down and he has not moved.
Did he punch him as well
He
by
has
accident?
not moved, Harris Andrews.
I reckon he was out before he hit the ground there, Dwayno.
Is Jeremy Cameron.
Copped the elbow on the way down. Oh, unintentional, I believe.
He's in some trouble there.
That is a hard hit.
Oh, maybe not. Ew.
They're going to come out now. Harris Andrews.
That's a
amazing score to go back with a flight. He's flushed that punch. Great hit, but then there's another.
Taken by Podsy Adley. Kicks it down towards half board. Bounces on its point. Charging in Guerra. Chapman is down. That really hurt. Guerra took him right up the middle.
Goes for a pass up towards Jesselenko.
again. illegal.
Well, Magro got him a beauty.
I love the old commentators. Macro got him a beauty. Nothing about the dodgy illegal forearm.
It's not Timmerbush, it was Smith, and down he went like a bag of smarts. And the Magpies are really going in hard. He hasn't moved, Smith.
Jesus, in this old black and white style footage, it would have been impossible to tell who was who.
They were coming front on. There would have been head-high contact. These two didn't pull up, though. They kept going at each other. And the result was a double collision.
Whoops. Francisco, you're in trouble. Down he goes. Watson, what a bump.
Lobbed that really high up towards centre wing. And a collision down there. Saunders.
Whiplash.
Malcolm was making very indirect without a centre half forward. They go out towards the flanks almost every time. Osborne crashing into him was Miles.
Miles was on the move always. Beams there, couldn't quite control it. Confronted by Alier. Gee, that was good footy both ends. He was on the run, and then this. Alier with a punishing tackle on Beams.
Tackled. Houston just bundled over by Cameron. Fleury there getting involved.
Timing on the shot.
It's taken to the line. And Houston feeling the effects of that bump. Ribs were exposed, and I think it was Charlie Cameron saw the ribs open.
3 goal to 2 quarter for Port. Mitchell goes bang against Duray. It was like 2 bricks colliding.
Kick forward, Dangerfield. In hard, Murphy and Dangerfield crashing into one another. Murphy's really been banged up here.
Centering kick, Beasley at the back. Oh, he's got it again.
The field kicking. Been terrible. Madden has unloaded. I think it's Duck.
Buchanan. He's down hurt. Just hurriedly gets boot to ball, hoping to find Whitfield. McDonald tipping well. Tim. And he slams him over the line.
The opposite pocket, but that's ill-directed as well. Look out. Burrito, that's his natural habitat.
In this contest. Massive hippie shoulder by Rioli. He's put Oliver down, and Oliver hasn't moved.
Can't afford to kill the ball like that.
It's a great play. He's flattened him out.
Just there's a perfect example of that chaos that I'm talking about. The ball being oval, if you don't catch it, it bounces crazy and wild, right? So then all of a sudden you got to take that into play, and you got players running at full speed towards this dancing object. It's just not going to end well half the time.
Can't afford to kill the ball like that.
Chaos! He's flattened him out, Zeeble. Wiedering, sky high, Murphy stood underneath and they were coming for him.
Sandwiched.
He's down, he might be out.
Gee, Zach Butters came in from the front really hard, wasn't it?
For a long time too, and he's just been crunched from both angles. It's great commitment from all players, nothing malicious about it. All 3 guys had eyes on the ball.
Milburn marked the Milton kick, gave it to Selwood. Down goes Chapman, that hurt. Hit by Hayes.
Kickers up towards full forward. There's Van der Haar again. He's dropped that one, but he goes down there in defence. A long kick to half. He's grabbed it. He got a heavy one that time from Swab.
Oh, some of these old shots. Oh, there was just no rules.
Knocked him right out.
Now, here come the Tigers again. Here's it. Waitman is unloaded by Neagle.
Finding space. This is a bit more like Subiaco Oval and what they know.
No free, according to the umpire. Big hippie shoulder. Rayner and Mark.
Belchambers gets the hit. O'Meara has to go hard. Francis came out and ironed him out with a big hip and shoulder.
Bang! Non-preferred foot pass. Boat just got bullied out of the way by Buddy. Got him right up the sternum.
The ground he goes.
Night.
Rexy, they're going to have to stop the play here. Crummel, they've got his mouth guard straight out. Doesn't look
Interesting, because he could have got the ball, but he saw him in his peripherals.
Howlett to the interchange gates. Ponzi Adley, a defiant fist. Look out! Well done by both players on a collision course. Young Schroeder can put the body in. And down goes Goddard a second time. He collided with Schroeder first. He collided with...
13 points the margin there. Curvis Crunch was pressed here and he saw, feeling the heat out there.
All he was hoping it would go out. Henderson bowled over by Zura. He goes again, and Stratton equal to the task.
Those fans giving him the plaudits as Cloak takes the next one.
Great shepherd on Kobe Stevens from Travis Cloak.
Both AC joints have met. Travis Cloakes has met Kobe Stevens.
So yeah, again, you like NFL, you're allowed to stop the defensive player from getting to the attacker. So that's what they call a shepherd. So he passed the ball, and in AFL, I don't know if you've noticed, they punch the ball, which is really weird, and I've never really understood why. So you have to hold the ball in one hand and literally punch it to your teammate. And then he just ran in such a beautiful line. It was such a nice.
Stevens from Travis Cloakes. Both AC joints have met. Travis Cloakes has met Kobe Stevens, and I know which one come off second best.
Rainer flew off hands, Hooley. Crashes into 3 lines.
Mitch Robinson. Oh, does he take
it? Both players loved it.
Oh, he took him horizontally with his power.
Ugly bounce for Johannesson. Bang! Rainer lined him up from 20 metres away.
It could have been worse.
There not to give and have it cut off. Risky kick. Blake.
Could have been worse.
Collision with the tough Tapscott. You would not want to meet him on a dark night, Tapscott.
Bouncing is Sherman. Handballs to Grant. Bang!
Good shot.
Josh Hunt cleans him up. He's down and he's hurt. That was a big, hard
clean shot.
Cleanliness and decisiveness. Cleanliness.
I like it.
Oh, yeah.
Zorko got pulverised.
I thought he got the kick off.
Oh, Dave Larson, it's the only time you see that sort of thing is when somebody comes off the
All Sydney, Doreen, Miranda, the only man there, and he played it superbly. Miranda comes away, Doreen is down hurt.
He gets it down, approaching. Oh, Richardson! That bump was by Voss.
On hands and knees, gives it across to Cousins. The kick, bang! Down he goes from the shooter.
Work. Earning a free kick. Martin, the handball, didn't need to play on there. He had Robinson right there with him, but he keeps going. He has flattened.
Oh, that's illegal.
He's run past the footy.
Yeah, so I think I heard them say run past the footy. I was going to say he didn't play at the football at all. He left his feet, so he jumped at the guy and he braced. And I don't know if he hit him with the shoulder or
He jumped up in the air to hit him. Just didn't realise that May was coming, but leaving the ground, it's dangerous when you elect to bump.
Ran past
access all. Williams Tarrant, his tight squeeze, but he was hoping he had to get out close. Oh, Manchester was coming, and you wouldn't want to be in his way.
Duncan gets out of trouble, comes looking for Selwood. Not as he kicked, the ball goes down towards half forward. The mark is taken by Podsy Adley. Selwood.
I've got a funny feeling this was in the finals or certainly deep into the sort of playoff rounds. And I think that guy was playing with an injury already. I'm not 100%.
Back on Selwood.
Inboard now, Chandler, first touch straight. Rashuko was hitting with a steam train. Got sensibly, Soccer's off the ground. Worksbold leads in this race.
Oh, God. Close line.
Miranda has Nate. He threads it through. He'll only go over the top. But here's
Stevo.
Here's Pollack.
Just ate him. Oh, that was cool. I really enjoyed that, guy. I hope you enjoyed it too. Hope you learned something as well, a little bit about the country and our different codes, and it might help you understand some of my comments as far as the context that I'm trying to put things into and how I'm trying to relate it back to what's familiar to me and how I understand things. But yeah, look, if you haven't already done so, guys, and you've stuck around this long, you deserve to subscribe. So hopefully you've done that, and we will see you in the next one.